Hi guys, welcome to another weekly Laser Talk, and this week we'll be looking at the Addams Family. Right here is volume 4 of 6. There's actually a decent amount of the 60's TV series released on LaserDisc. You have 6 volumes of collections of 4 episodes each. There's a Criterion Television collection. There are 2 volumes of the animated series, the later animated series, and you even had both of the 90's movies. I have the first one, the better one in my opinion here. And the Addams Family, I absolutely love. I've always liked 60's television. It's my second favorite decade behind the 90's for TV shows, and I've always really enjoyed the Addams Family. I also like the Munsters, and I think I mentioned it because it's compared a lot to the Munsters. The big difference for me between the two, I love the back cover here, it looks really cool. The big difference between the two, the Munsters to me was always kind of goofy fun, but the family was the source of a lot of sort of that goofy fun activity. With the Addams Family, they were more often than not sort of like the straight man in the act, and it was really the normal, quote-unquote, humans that were the goofiness, and it was their reactions that were kind of the funny part of the show. And the Addams Family, to me, they were this perfectly well-adjusted, wonderful, just almost ideal family unit, and they were just such great people that were just so accepting of themselves, and they were genuinely good people, and they were an interesting lens, an interesting way at looking at society at large and all of our oddities and all of our differences and all of our problems through these people that on first appearances would seem to be the oddballs, but they're really, as bizarre as they really are sort of that core tight-knit family unit, and they really are the bedrock of morality within the show and used as that looking glass into the oddities of our society, and makes a really interesting, great family sitcom type show that has a lot more layers than it would initially appear, as opposed to the Munsters, which to me were always just kind of, it's a fun, goofy show, but it's just a fun, goofy show. The Addams Family, definitely better. These are really good releases. This is the first one I have here, so I only have this one up. I'm looking forward to getting a lot of different 60's TV series and lasers, a lot of really good packages here for 60's and even some 70's sci-fi and stuff like that. But this is really great, presented in the original black and white. Thankfully, I hate when they colorize old shows like that. With Bewitched, the first 2 seasons were originally black and white. I'm glad I had the first 2 in black and white. They never look quite right when they've been when they've been colorized later on. It always looks a little bit off. And even here it says, CLV, black and white, original source material, 35mm print, transferred and mastered digitally. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It's fantastic. And I actually have a small DVD collection here from MGM, about, I forgot how many episodes, like 3 hours or so, stuff on here that I was comparing it to. And again, so far my experience, I have yet to run into an instance where something didn't look and sound spectacular on LaserDisc that was in black and white. So far, I have not encountered anything that I have or have seen on 2 different formats, LaserDisc versus DVD or Blu-ray, that is in black and white, that LaserDisc is not the best version. Everything I've seen so far, I really like black and white on LaserDisc. Something about that analog video format, something about LaserDisc in general, I like the look of, but it really stands out to me with a lot of older animation and with black and white, whether it's silent films going through, like 30's sometimes for movies and the 60's for TV. A lot of the black and white stuff, to me, I think looks the best on LaserDisc and definitely sounds better than the DVD. A couple of really good episodes here. I had a lot of fun watching this. I've already watched through it twice. Only 4 episodes, doesn't take that long, but Lurch Learns to Dance, Art and the Addams Family. The Addams Family meets a beatnik. That was a pretty funny one. And the Addams Family meets the Undercover Man. That's actually one of my favorite episodes that I remember seeing a bunch as a kid. But a really good release here. And then the first of the 2 90's movies here. And these were amazing. In large part, not only were they great movies, but they were an example of something where you brought back an old TV show and obviously recast it decades later, and it really, really worked, because most of the time it doesn't, and we're seeing a lot of that now. Of course, we're seeing things come back, and most of them are awful. This is an example of when it was done right. This was in many ways as good as the original TV series, and especially going into a movie format, a little bit different, but it was cast perfectly. I actually would say that I have a new favorite Wednesday Addams in the movie compared to the TV show. Everyone else, it's sort of give or take. Probably the original I like a little bit more, but definitely the best, Wednesday Addams there with Christina Ricci. But a great cast, a fantastic movie. They really pulled it off, and I enjoy watching this one to this day. The second one too, but more that first one. Both are just a great 90s movies, tying in with our similar 90s thing here, and a little bit with this, the Addams Family. So Volume 4, I can't wait to get the rest of these. Again, there are 6 volumes in this collection, which is awesome. That's a whole lot of Addams Family to have on LaserDisc, plus the Criterion Television and some of the animated series, which is definitely the weakest of the different incarnations of the Addams Family, but it's still pretty good. It's still pretty decent. It's still fun. So that's a great one there. And the other, and I also think one I've never seen, one that was, I don't even know if it was in theaters or not, but Addams Family Reunion, another, was it late 90s or early 2000s? It was past those two, and most of the roles were recast, and it always looked bad to me. I'd never seen it. That one is also on LaserDisc, a little bit harder to find, but I want to check that one out. But the Addams Family in general, just a great show and a great example of something that is just great casual fun, but there's a lot deeper meaning to it. There's something, there's more to explore, and you can have fun with it on different levels, and I like that. It's something that I don't have to really think of it in terms like that. I can watch it before bed one night just to relax, and it's funny and it's wholesome. But if I really want to explore it, there's something deeper to explore. It's not just kind of goofy fun. So the Addams Family, absolutely fantastic. And again, just from speaking of my personal experience, just from what I've seen so far, anything from the Flash Gordon stuff here to Addams Family and Thin Man Collection, whatever, silent movies, I've yet to encounter something that is in black and white where I don't prefer the way it looks by significantly on LaserDisc compared to other formats. To me, I think that's sort of the gold mine for me personally for collecting LaserDisc is definitely anything from silent movies to anything else that's black and white, old animation, and of course some 80s stuff. To me, like that's all those together, those categories are really the things that I think are the stuff I love the most on LaserDisc. And then of course sci-fi TV series, because there's just something awesome about LaserDisc, and stuff like Star Trek and the X-Files, just any kind of old sci-fi stuff on LaserDisc. It just for some reason just kind of goes together. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Absolutely awesome. But yep, thank you for joining me for another weekly Laser Talk, talking about the Addams Family, and join me just about every Friday for new weekly Laser Talk. Occasionally there'll be something like last week we had my wife actually went to the premiere of the Rugrats movie in the 90s, and I did that instead. But most Fridays we'll have a LaserDisc topic, and join me every single week for more LaserDisc fun.